Hello, hello. Let's try this again. There we are. Okay, 1 second. Oh yeah, all the bells and whistles are going off right when I don't need them to. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I'm late here. I had to restart the live because I wasn't getting any connection. It wasn't coming up, so I couldn't see any comments, but here we are. So today we're going to be using a fun Turnabout stencil. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but we're going to make something similar to this. I thought I would introduce some of you to this product just so that you know how to use it and how easy and simple it is to use. And you can pretty much use it for any theme or topic or whatever kind of floats your boat, because you can make it any color you want. But I thought we'd start with Christmas and go from there. So the product that we're going to use today is also the Paper Roses Merry Christmas to You die. This is a cool die, inexpensive. Hi, Beth. And great way to add dimension to your cards in a simple sentiment. So we're going to use that today. Then we're going to use this little beauty here. This is the Faceted Turnabout Stencil from Concord & Ninth. It's a 2-piece, or it has 2 pieces in it. I'm also going to give away cards this week too, so make sure that you leave a comment along. I'll pick winners at the end. This is a 2-piece stencil, and I might have to bring in another color. I'm going to bring in the back of my Misty here, so you guys can see this. So there's 3 sentiments you can use. You can also mask them off and not use them at all. And then there's this kind of like flower stencil. Hi, Melissa. And what it makes is this. So you could use this almost as a snowflake. You could use it as a flower, just as a pattern. But the beauty of a Turnabout stamp is that, stencil, is that number one, they're inexpensive. You can use whatever inks and stuff you have on hand. You don't need anything special. And this one makes this beautiful image with just this. Yep, just one stencil. And the way it works is that you start with a square piece of paper. Square always works a lot better for this system than anything. It means you can trim it down, which is great. But you start by putting your stencil in one way on your square. You apply 1 layer of ink, whatever color you wish, and then the beauty of it is you clean your stencil and then you rotate it 90 degrees. See, it matches up there. Then you apply another color of ink, whatever color you want. Go clean it off, rotate it, and apply another color of ink. So every time you turn it, you add a different facet, in this case, to your image. So your 4th turn and your 4th color completes that image. So 4 sides, 4 turns, easy. And that's what it builds up. So you can use, in this case I used embossing powder. So the copper color is embossing powder, which you can use on a stencil. You just use your Versamark or some kind of sticky ink and your powders. And so with stencils, so much versatility. Okay, let's show you the second part of this 2-piece stencil. So again, this you also receive in that package. So this is the second part. And this gives you a larger, obviously a 6x6 component. Okay, so you will actually have like a A2 size card plus a couple of offcuts which you can use, which are really cool. Again, this stencil works exactly like the previous one. You put it down, you ink it once, you go and you clean it, and then you rotate 90 degrees. Put it down, apply a new ink, pick it up, clean it, and rotate. And you just rotate through. Now you can choose to do 1 rotation, 2, 3, or all 4. It's completely up to you. That's the versatility in it as well. You don't actually have to have 4 inks. So let's go and use this stencil today because this is kind of fun. This is something different and very, very well thought out for sure. And again, I thought I was prepared today, and apparently I'm not. I gotta make our bases. Okay. I'm just gonna take, I'm gonna use a heavyweight cardstock in this case. You could actually use any kind of paper that you wanted. And I'm gonna make a square. And the beauty in using a square is that it's easy to line everything up. Don't have to worry about being fussy about lining stuff up a lot. So if you make yourself a square for this, you'll just make it so much easier for yourself. Okay. So, okay. I'm going to bring in a piece of just copy paper to work on today. Gotta pull one out of my printer, sorry. Hi, Sherry. Okay. So I'm gonna just use some adhesive here just to hold my piece of paper down. I'm gonna take my arm. This is a good old trick for making it repositionable. Just putting some skin cells down. Okay. Just gonna attach my square. This is 6 by 6. Because our stencil is, this one is basically 6 by 6. It's a little bit shorter, but that's okay. It's like 5 and probably 7/8 or something silly like that. But a square will always work in your favor. So work with a square. Okay. So the thing to remember with using these plus any Turnabout stamps. So Concord 9th makes stamps that kind of work exactly the same way as the stencil. I'm also going to bring in a piece of low-tack tape just to hold everything down. And today I'm just going to block off one side. Okay, so the secret to this is always to bring your stencil into one particular corner and line it up with your X and your Y. So I'm always going to bring my stencil into this corner. So I'm going to take a little moment here and line up both of those edges with my paper edge. Then we're just going to use my low-tack tape just to hold everything in place, to hold that stencil in place. Now, I highly recommend a pixie spray or a it's made by Krylon, and I can never find any where I live. You can actually get it at probably your hardware store or your craft store. And what it does is you spray it on. It's like a hairspray. Hi, Holly. And it puts a low-tack stick to the back of your stencil, and I just don't happen to have any with me. I actually ordered some yesterday from Rhea, so I have that coming. So you spray it back your stencil, and then it temporarily adheres to your paper, so it doesn't tend to move, which is exactly what you want. You don't want your stencil to move in this case, but in my case, I'm just going to use low-tack tape just to hold stuff down. So I'm just going to apply it where that stencil opening is not. And this is where you guys get to kind of help me out today. So I have the original red, pinky, and green color combos. I also have the blue and the blue-green combo, but I thought I'd make 2 different ones. You guys kind of tell me which ones you'd like to try today. Do you want to try the blue and violet, or do you want to kind of try the greens today? You guys get to vote and tell me what we're doing. And I will go and grab some of my brushes here. You always have trouble finding me, Holly. Yeah, that's okay. I have some days it feels like I have a hard time getting you here. So are we going purples and blues or greens today? Because like I said, this stencil can be used with anything. Melissa says blue and violet. Holly says 9. Not quite sure what 9 means, but okay. Does that mean no in German? Blue and violet, yeah. See, I was kind of thinking that you guys might go that direction. So, okay, let's put our greens aside. And, okay, we need, this will probably work for my stone blue. I'm just pulling brushes for this, guys. And that should work for my violets. Okay. Booty foul. I just find that brushes work a little bit better. You can absolutely use your sponge daubers. And I always tend to start with our lightest because it just makes it a little bit easier for cleaning. So I'm just going to set everything aside here. And we're going to start with our lilac. So these are Catherine Pooler inks. Okay. So I'm just getting some ink on my brush here, and we're going to apply it through that stencil. And again, I would recommend some kind of adhesive spray that is, you can move it around, and of course my brain has escaped me. You can go over this if you don't think an area is dark enough. Just keep going over and over. I also recommend with these is to do things in a circular motion. So what that does is it allows all of the edges to be hit with those brush edges. So you're going to get a more even application all the way around whatever that shape is. And of course, if you wanted to do this, it would be kind of pretty. You could do just the edges to kind of make like a focal point or a focal void in the middle. That would be kind of pretty to use. You could also apply some kind of mask to your paper before you start with the stencil. So for instance, if you wanted to do a card with a white circle in it, then put like a white circle mask on the paper before you start. The beauty of this is that it is a little bit larger than your average card, so you can actually cut it down to whatever size you want. If you wanted to cut this into 4 different pieces to use, like 4 squares, you could do that. And of course, stencils are just one of those things that I highly recommend to somebody first starting out for card making because they are inexpensive. They're a great way to start making your own pattern paper. And of course, I highly recommend like your favorite ink. So you use the colors that you want. Okay. There we go. Just a light, subtle violet. Or sorry, lilac. I got violet on the brain. Okay. Now, this is where you have to remember this is how this Turnabout stencil works. I'm going to peel up my tape. Now, because this purple that we're going to apply on next is very similar in color, I'm not going to bother cleaning my stencil. Okay, so this is the way it was laid. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Remember, the secret is butting it into whichever corner you've decided is your main focal corner. So I'm going to very, very carefully line our stencil up with that corner. That's very, very important. And then we're going to stick it down. And of course, that's always what happens. It moved. And hopefully you can't hear my son yelling. He's right below me and he's really loud. So I am just going to take my my cloth and just wipe down that edge. And of course I keep moving it. I'm trying to make sure that everything is lined up properly here, because that is the key to using this, and to make sure that everything lines up properly. So I'm having to just slightly readjust things. There. Okay. Much better. Okay, we're going to do crushed violet. I know, pretty colors, eh, Sherry? And like I said, you can customize this to whatever you need. So if you're doing like a masculine birthday card, and you know that person's favorite colors are blue and red because of maybe a sports team that they like, then find 4 colors of blue and red, and maybe even a silver or something like that, that would work to rotate and use your Turnabout stencil. So you get to make this your own. That's the beauty of it. Now, that being said, if you don't have a lot of inks to start off with, because you're new to card making or scrapbooking, that's okay. Because inks tend to layer. So I can put a really, really light coat of our crushed violet down, and it might look very similar to that lilac color. But if I go over it a second time, I'm going to add more pigment on top. So it then becomes darker. So even though you've only got 1 ink, you can have a dark version, a medium tone. You could go over it a 3rd time and make it even richer in color. So you don't always have to have all the inks. You know, start off with your favorite colors. Like if you're a purple lover like me, maybe you get lots of purples and pinks. And then you grow your ink collection from there. Don't have to have all the things to make fun things. And stencils are easy to use. I highly recommend using brushes, but there's other ways of applying ink. You can use makeup brushes. You can use makeup sponges. There's lots of ways to use it. You can use cotton balls. Yeah, you don't have to have all the tools either. You can work your way up. Okay, I'm just making sure that I got an even distribution, that all of my shapes look about the same color. And because I have had this piece of tape down that side of my paper, I'm going to have a void, but that's okay. I only kind of want an A2 size, so that's okay. All right, we're going to peel off this, and I'll show you how I clean my stencil when I'm at my workspace and I don't want to get up because I can't for you guys. I'm just going to stick this off to the side. I just have a little bit of water in a spray bottle. I'm going to spritz it. And then I'm just going to use my microfiber cloth. And I use this one specifically with inks. I mean, it's, you can see I've got purple and blue and all kinds of stuff in here. And I just throw it in the laundry with my towels. Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm going to, now water will seep underneath this. So I clean my surface and then I go back and clean the back of the stencil, because there are water droplets that are found underneath it. So just make sure it's nice and clean and dry. Okay, and then say you've forgotten, oh my god, I don't know which section I left on. So you just do a puzzle. Okay, so, oh, there was my last color. So now I need to pick it up and rotate 90 degrees. Okay, easy peasy to remember where you left off. We're going to reposition that stencil right back in that corner. Remember, that is the key element of using this stencil, so that stuff lines up properly. Okay. Hopefully I can get this on without moving it, instead of having to fiddle with it 10 times. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to go to our lightest, our stone blue in this case. And we're going to add our ink through. And again, if you want just a soft layer, then just create a soft layer. Just don't go over it too many times. So again, you can build up that color. You could also do a gradient, would be kind of cool. Like start with a light blue at the top, and you could even go to dark blue at the bottom. That might look really cool. Because you could definitely play with the stencil in oddball ways. You could do gradients on each level. That would look very, very interesting. One second here. Just making sure that I can see your comments. So I'm going to give away 2 cards today at the end of our live. So make sure you comment. And in one of those cards, I'm going to send a little gift. I have a little stash of brand new products that I have just kind of stashed away, and one lucky card receiver is going to receive a gift with their card. So don't forget to comment today. And apparently this ink pad is not very juicy and I need to re-ink it. This stencil is also in one of the Friday bundles that is on sale right now. It's along with a whole bunch of other stencils, and I'm not 100% sure what else is in there. I didn't look too closely, but I know this stencil is built into a little package. And all of those packages of goodies, they're all labeled in the storefront there. They're all 50% off. So you're basically getting half the product for free. So if you're looking to add to your stash maybe, or you're looking for a gift for somebody crafty, you might want to check out those sales in the shop. Because, I mean, 50% off, that's pretty cool. I know there's a Misty one if you wanted to get somebody a Misty tool. It has a little bundle with it with some other stuff. So yeah, make sure you check out the shop. Okay, there's our stone blue, and again, I kept it really simple because the ink pad is kind of weak in ink, so I need to re-ink it. Pretty colors. And Melissa says she's hoping to finish up her Christmas cards this weekend. Ah, I was a good girl and sent mine out last week. Yeah, I sat myself down and told myself that I wasn't allowed to create anything more until they got addressed and sent out. So I'm not going to water this and wash this because that blue is so similar and it's a little bit darker for our next color, which is going to be Cove Blue. So I just kind of wiped off this section so I can tape it down, because tape does not like ink. So try not to cover up those holes. And we're going to shift this down just ever so slightly. Okay. So, do you guys want to try a gradient? You're so late? No, I don't think so, Melissa. Unless they're going across the pond, then I don't think you're late. I had stuff come from England in like 10 days. And I had stuff from Australia get there in 3 weeks. It's crazy. So let's try gradient. I'm going to get a Cove Blue, but I'm also going to get the darker blue. Let's do a gradient of color on this one and just see what it looks like. Okay, Cove Blue to start. So we're going to go, I don't know, halvesies on this and just see what the effect is. Because this is what it's all about, right? This is experimentation. And the thing is, you don't even have to use it. Like, if you're not happy with it, that's okay. It's just a piece of paper. But the thing is that you learned something from that experience. Like, oh, maybe that color combination does not look good together. I've been there, done that. Okay, working our way down here. Oh, Spencer. The other thing is that this stencil also leaves white spaces. So you will always have white left over somewhere on this design. So you will have 4 colors plus white. Okay. Yes, this takes a little bit of time, and I probably could have used a bigger blending brush, but oh well. Oh, child. Can you guys hear him? I've got a silly question. Can you guys hear him? He's literally right below me in the basement. I can hear him clean as day. Okay. Trying to work my way down here. Okay, just kind of doing an overlap section. Yes, the England Royal Mail is on strike, on a rotating strike. So yeah, I was really surprised that it only took 10 days. I think I have a bigger brush. This one's just a little bit bigger, so we'll use that. Oops. So this is just a little bit richer. The Juniper Mist, it's a little bit darker than our Cove Blue. It's more of like a navy. And I apologize for the shaking. If I'm not making you seasick. Or have motion sickness, because yeah. That's what happens when you aggressively brush across your desk. Okay, just filling in those last little remainders. So see, it is slightly darker. And again, I could go in and enrich and deepen and darken. I'm not too worried about it. So there we go. Okay. There we go. Now, haha, the final reveal. Okay, are you guys ready? Ooh, that's a jeweled, beautiful mess. So I'm just gonna quickly clean this. Like I said, you could just spray it down and just wipe it. And remember that water gets underneath that stencil, so you have to clean your surface and then clean the back of your stencil too. But I mean, stencils are great in that respect. As long as you're using water-based ink, you're good. Okay, so there, isn't that pretty? So it's a jeweled. And look at, you can kind of see the gradient as it works its way kind of darker. So yeah, something different. Beautiful. Okay, let's peel this sucker off. Okay, let's bring in Mr. Trimmer. And I'm going to cut off this edge first and just make it a clean edge. And then we're going to do 4 by, you can keep these, this is definitely still usable. And then we're going to do 4 by, 1 second here, 4 by 5 1/4, because I'm going to take a 1/4 of an inch off of all the sides so I can make a frame. So you guys know that I love glitter paper, right? So let's pull out, I think I have a piece of silver there. I think that's big enough. Okay, this is that pack that I've been using lately, the Glitter Snowflakes collection. It's the A4 size, so it's bigger than your letter size piece of paper. And there's 24 pieces inside. Just want to double check that this will mat properly. Okay, it is big enough. Just have to trim down one side. Okay. So we'll just do a hair past there. And then we have a pretty little silver edge all the way wrapped around. Hello, Lisa. Did all my American friends have a good Thanksgiving? I hope you're able to celebrate with family and friends. Oops, okay. We're putting this on our silver mat. Making sure it's as even as I can get it. Sometimes glitter paper is ornery and you have to use like a wet adhesive. This stuff's pretty good though. Okay, there we go. Party. Okay, before we go any further, I'm going to put it on the card base. So, I'm not sure about you guys, but I always have card bases kind of like prepped and at least scored. I don't always have them folded, but I have them scored and ready to go. Just using my silicone bone folder, and we're going to adhere this down so it doesn't get lost on my desk. Okay. Come on, Mr. ETG. Okay, we're going to put the navy or that juniper mist towards the bottom. And again, I like having a matte on my card. So it has the white matte and then like the silver touch there. Pretty. Okay. So next, we want to put on our die cut. Now, Catherine does not sell coordinating cardstock, but that's okay because I don't mind. All you have to do is make your own. Okay, so for this one, we're going to make a juniper mist layer. So I'm going to take this die with some repositionable tape. I've got stuff all over my desk. Okay, bring in Mr. Big Shot here. Okay, make sure that's good. And we're going to put it through the die cut machine. Okay, there we go. We're good. Set it aside. Okay, now there's a trick. So if you take, this is just a big piece of repositionable tape, and I'm going to put it on the back. So I'm hoping that this will hold all of my pieces in the die cut shape. Okay, perfect. Did its job. Then what I'm going to do is you can either do pad to paper or you can take your brush and do it, but this does a pretty good job. So I'm just going to ink up that die cut. So this is how you make coordinating pieces to whatever you've inked. So you don't have to have matching cardstock for everything. This technique works just as well. And I'm going to see if I can get in some of those ridges. There we go. There we go. See? Matching Merry Christmas. Ta-da! Okay, now this die has almost everything is tucked in or attached, but it does have a few S's and C's that fall out. So see, I've lost a piece there, but that's okay. So here's the trick. You want to attach this to your card and keep everything in the same orientation. So you know how sometimes when you take out a die, it goes, when you go to glue it on, because there's pieces in that die that are thin, so they want to bend. You can alleviate that by doing this. Okay, so you need your wet adhesive. So we've already lost a few pieces, but they don't matter in the sense of gluing it down. So you're going to apply glue while it's still stuck in that paper to anything that you want to stick down. So we're going to go on any of the letters, make sure it has a little bit of glue. And the fine point on this glue makes it so easy to get into those little squiggles down the letter. Now that S is going to come out, so I'm just going to let it alone for a moment and just add glue to everything else. I know that S is going to pop out because it's not attached to anything, just like the other S. So we'll come back to that. Okay, so I've added glue to everything that I want to stick down. So this way of doing it, it will allow you to not skew anything for that die. So press everything down really well. Okay. You can also go into your voids, and I've got a big blob of glue. Go into your voids and add adhesive. So that C and the double S. And we're going to use our quick stick because this thing is brilliant. And of course it's not going to come off here. Oh, silly thing. I should really leave the cap off this. There we go. Okay, so it has a sticky end. So I'm just going to drop them into those voids that you have just inked. And it's going to do the same thing as what you're doing. And that also allows for the spacing to be correct too. So now you just want to carefully, and you might need your pokey tool to pull all the stuff from the voids. Okay. Oh, it did pretty good. There's one little hairy part up there. Okay, see, we have a couple of things still missing or that need to come out. This quick stick does this perfectly. Just stick it to the stuff that needs to come out and it just picks it up and pops it right out. Now for some reason this piece is not coming out. We'll just help it out a little bit. There we go. Now I do have a little bit of paper that's stuck in the top of my M, so I'm going to very carefully, oh no, I'm not. I'm leaving it. And there we go. We have a Merry Christmas that's stuck down and in the right orientation, and it's not skewed anywhere, and it's easy to put in. So there we go. There's your trick of the day. So I'm going to call it done for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed the technique. And make sure you do take a look at some of the Concord and 9th stuff in the shop, because there's some pretty cool stuff that's in there. Like I said, this stencil is in a bundle with some other Concord items. And it's on sale for 50% off. And I think that ends tonight. So if you're going to shop the store tonight, because there are quite a few bundles. I'd have to say more than 15 bundles that are on sale for 50% off. And they have an amazing array of bundles, from MFT bundles to Misty bundle to like a stamped theme bundle, that kind of stuff. So you can also shop Catherine Poulett inks too if you don't have any of those. And yeah, I hope you guys had a good week, and I hope you have a great Sunday. I'm going to post 2 winners who left comments today, and the first person who gets back to me, I'm going to put a little something in their envelope. So Thanks for joining me today, guys. Don't forget to check out the store, and I'll see you again next Sunday. Bye.